Good evening and welcome to the Imagination Factory. I put down a number of premises and then I thought about it as well. I'm like, we almost need to take a step back and figure out what is the whole feel of this project, right? Because there's so many ways we can go, so many different art styles we could choose depending on if we want to make somebody laugh, if we want to scare them, if we want to give them a sense of adventure. So I thought that would be a good place to start. Like, do you have a vibe that you're feeling right now? Like, is something calling out to you as the type of work you see coming out of this?
We've collaborated on a couple of things so far,
Mhm.
and most of them have been the more all ages younger side.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe we can try something that's a little bit more, uh, like, older. It
Yeah.
could be like, sci-fi or, fantasy,
Mhm.
or historical. I'm open to it. It doesn't really Again, I don't really have an idea, didn't really think about it,
Yeah.
in
Well,
regards
that's
to.
I just sort of like, it's just I was as I was coming up with ideas, they were starting to fall into different areas. And then I started
Mhm,
thinking, I'm like, like that's going to change the whole style, right? Once we decide on a premise, that's going to start to dictate a look and a feel.
right.
But I love that you're open to a bunch of different things. So let me share some premises and then we can see if any are jumping out or if we want to kind of jump off any of them.
So while she's pulling something up here, I'll just explain a little bit of the process of what we're going to be doing. So, as you can see here, she's sharing her screen. I'm going to read, I guess, you can read out loud
Mhm.
some of what she's written here, and then once we figure out what feels good, the next step after that is I'm going to share my screen and start drawing. So for now, let's see what she's got here. So premise number one, we got one morning. Everyone in the city seems to be following rules the main character never received. Lines formed, signals are exchanged, people avoid certain places and no one explains why. So that kind of sounds like some kind of a mystery to me.
Mhm.
Like there's
Yeah,
some
the
kind of world building event happening that the main character is going to be part of.
exactly. For me, that felt very much I wanted something that felt unsettling, right? Like, it's got a
Uh-huh.
mysterious feel, it's got something that is like a deep backstory that maybe we don't ever explain fully, but something's happened. I just thought it was an interesting premise where it's like you wake up one day and you didn't get the memo, right? Like, everybody seems to
Uh,
know something that you don't and what's gonna happen. So that was the first idea I had.
yeah, and so just reading that's a kind of story that requires a lot of world building because you have to know what kind of
100%.
rules they're going to be that
Mhm.
the characters have to follow. Is it a story that takes place in modern times? Would it be more suited in a pre-social media time when nobody can like get on their phone and go, "Hey, this
Mhm.
person here has no idea uh, who he is or why he's there, whatever is going on." So something like that would require it has that kind of light sci-fi feel to it
Mhm.
that would require uh, figuring out what the rules are.
Exactly, it
So
could be the alternate reality, right? Something that is not
yeah,
familiar to anybody in any space. So it really was open-ended with the idea that we could take it kind of anywhere. So that was the first one.
mhm, yeah, and I just want to when I visualize that story.
Mhm,
So I guess taking a bit of a step back how I operate is when somebody is explaining something to me or I'm reading the story that's in front of me, the first premise there, I start imagining things. I start thinking about like what is the how would I be drawing it? Like,
mhm,
and something like this feels like it would be a bit more realistic, maybe even heavily shadowed, right? Just
yeah,
leading to that mystery feel. That's not necessarily how it has to go. It could go in a very different direction. It could be a little bit more. Um, the style could be a little bit more caricaturish, but that's my initial impression for the first
yeah.
one.
I was
So,
thinking similarly, like almost like a film noir kind of vibe,
yeah.
right? So dark and shadowy and just plain mysterious that even without many words, you can tell something is uneasy. So,
Right. Now, if we do choose this one, I imagine you're gonna what we're having a conversation about, you can always take notes on
Mhm.
afterwards to
Exactly.
fill out some of the ideas that we have as we go. Okay, let me
Mhm.
get to the second one here. So a character's inner critic shows up as a tiny, annoying consultant. So right
Yes.
off the bat, I'm thinking, I almost think like very, very cartoony, um, something that you would see on TV, like on Fox or something.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know why the critic is that
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
was a
I
cartoon.
actually the first thing that popped into my mind when I started putting that down was the Flintstones and the Great
Okay.
Gazoo or whatever, the little green guy
Oh,
that
okay.
shows up and drives you
Yep.
nuts,
Yep.
and again, this one had a more of a comedic feel in my mind, right? Where it's like somebody who's trying to live their life, but their actual anxieties take on the form of a character that kind of follows them around, and thought it
Mhm.
could be sort of a fun, very different feel to the first idea.
Yeah, for sure. And funny enough, as I was reading it, when I saw inner critic, I actually read it as inner city first.
Mm,
So it even though I had to read it again, and go, no, it's inner critic. I'm like, oh, inner city. So maybe it's like some kind of it is in a city setting
mhm,
uh where you have like like it's like a New York City neighborhood kind of vibe to it. So that also could be the direction it can go too, right? Sometimes words kind
100%.
of evoke certain imagery, even if they're not exactly what you read.
Yeah, how you read it first sometimes sparks your mind into a direction, for sure.
Mhm. Okay, let's go to the next one here. A character discovers they have a superpower, but it's incredibly specific and mostly useless. So that's comedic.
Mhm.
Um, it, uh, I mean, obviously, it depends on we'd have to figure out what that superpower is. So you'd have to go through uh, all different superpowers that would be really just what's the benefit of it, right?
Yeah.
Like somebody that has like bottomless tissues that just come out of his pocket or something
Yeah,
funny like that you're like, yeah, I'm the guy that creates tissues all the
exactly.
time. I
I'm the
don't know
guy
where
that's
they
here if
come
you
from.
sneeze, don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
that could be too. It could be in a world where nobody has any power but this one character, but the power they got is like, "Really?" Or it could be one where it's almost like, that The Incredibles or something where everybody's got powers, but the one you ended up with is no good. People can fly, people can this, and you have some very bizarre thing, and it leads to comedic moments, seeing other superpowers, a little bit of juxtaposition. Could have fun with it.
mhm. Yeah, for sure. That one is so the second one could be kind of cartoonish,
Mhm.
but and comedic maybe, but also maybe done in a like a more serious way. Whereas this one feels to me like it could go very easily in a very pure like
Yeah,
slapsticky type of humor that we've actually Sarah and I have created together. We worked on a story called Cushing County, which
yeah.
is like that. It's very
Yes,
um,
100%.
okay. The next one here. In every building, there's one door no one ever opens. One day someone does. Ooh, okay.
Mm.
That's interesting. So again, that's like a world building type of story. Although I can also see it as being like really kind of like very personal. Like, what if it's just what if we're only seeing this one room um like yeah, like we don't know that there's a door in every building in the world, but
Yeah.
let's say this one character only knows about this one room or one door
Mhm.
in this particular building that they live in, and then um, so you're really not necessarily you may just be focusing on that space, right?
Yeah, it
So.
could be
Uh,
very singular character and their battle with themselves, in that sort of unsettling
mhm,
pace, right? Where it's like something
yeah.
happens and then you kind of have those few frames where there's just tension and nothing really happens other than that feeling of the character. Like that one to me just it kind of went into that psychological horror kind of space, which was very different
Mhm.
to where some of the other ones went and I thought could be interesting. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I would say that this one could lend very easily to horror,
mhm,
um,
100%.
especially if you just have, like the like a character coming into this room every day with this one door, just staring at it. Like I personally have like nightmares from something that was like in my life when I was a kid, an attic
Mhm.
door that was connected in the back of my bedroom, and that I can picture it to this day. And there's nightmares I had from it when
And
things
that's
would
a
come out of it.
collective experience, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like everybody many people have that. That's why it's great to play off of because it is something that most people get a shiver if they think of that, right? So
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, so far all of these ideas are like sparking imagery in my head, and so it's just more or less a matter of going, what's the thing that I feel like I can start
Mhm.
to work on in front of the camera, in a way that I'd be able to start really coming up with ideas, right?
Yeah.
Some of these things, not every idea is the same in the sense of like if you have this big epic story that is like historically based, you
Mhm.
may not even be drawing anything for a while because you're like doing all this research, right? So,
100%.
you know, I'm as I'm thinking about these ideas, I'm going, what's the thing that I think is going to be the easiest for me to just start to
Absolutely.
doodle out,
Mhm.
and it may not necessarily be the one that I think is like my favorite or the one that it just may be the one that I'm like, okay, this is the one that I think I can approach for now.
Yeah.
But again, um, I haven't quite made up my mind. Okay, so let's go with the next one here. This is the last one, correct?
Mhm. That's the last one.
Okay. An island appears for a few hours each day and holds something that must be retrieved before it vanishes again. So this one feels a little bit similar to the door one in the
Yeah,
sense
this
that
one's a
there's
bit
like
more of an adventure quest was how I was kind of
right.
picturing it. So, more video game
Okay.
worlds, like, it's like you have to achieve this goal to get to the next thing, sort of a vibe. But yes, it definitely has some similarities for sure.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like one of them thematically, one could lend towards like the horror genre, and one could be
Mhm.
to your point like an action or like something like Doctor Who-ish, like sci-fi
Yeah.
fantasy ish
Yeah.
type of thing. Um, but just the idea that there's this space that is a constant, right? Like that
Exactly,
there's
and
like
that's a
this
bit
thing.
unnerving. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
those are my ideas. That's what we're starting with. So now it's up to you as to
Mhm.
where you think we should focus our energies.